The Markle men, Thomas Senior and Junior, have learned the hard way that exploiting one's own daughter comes at a steep price. After years of publicly trashing Meghan Sussex and Prince Harry, they are now reaping the consequences of their actions, with begging tabloids to bankroll their bitter rantings and tropical escapades that resemble more of an exile than a vacation. The Markle men are discovering that their once-perceived clout holds no sway when it comes to paying the rent. The Glam Star report exposes their downfall with surgical precision and zero sympathy, as the world rightfully withholds its empathy from those who have chosen to betray their own flesh and blood. For years, Thomas Markle has engaged in a bitter campaign to trash his own daughter, Meghan, and her husband, Prince Harry. Rather than taking the high road and maintaining his dignity, Markle has repeatedly begged tabloids to bankroll his bitterness, desperate to remain in the public eye at any cost. Instead of moving on with his life, he has chosen to wallow in resentment, seemingly unable to accept the fact that his actions have consequences. Now, as he finds himself seemingly exiled to the Philippines, Markle is learning the hard way that his pathetic attempts to exploit his famous family have only served to alienate him further from the life he once knew. The tropical escapades of the Markle men now look more like an exile than a vacation. After years of publicly trashing Meghan and Prince Harry, Thomas Markle Senior and Junior are learning the hard way that clout doesn't pay the rent. With their desperate attempts to stay relevant, like begging tabloids to bankroll their bitterness, these two are discovering that sympathy has dried up faster than the spotty Wi-Fi in their remote Philippines hideaway. Karma has delivered a harsh lesson. When you spend years exploiting your own family, don't be surprised when the consequences come back to haunt you. The Markle men thought they could peddle their bitter grievances to the highest bidder, trading their own flesh and blood for a quick payout. But in this episode, the Glam Star report is swinging the scalpel with laser-focused intent, dismantling their crocodile tears and opportunistic antics with ruthless precision. When you've spent years exploiting your own daughter, don't expect any shred of sympathy. The well has run dry, and the Wi-Fi in their tropical exile is as unstable as their credibility. Thomas Markle Senior and Junior are learning the hard way that clout doesn't pay the bills, and karma has a way of catching up to those who shamelessly curry favour by betraying their own family. The Markle men's tabloid troubles. Thomas Markle's attempts to gain tabloid support for his bitterness towards his daughter Meghan and son-in-law Prince Harry have utterly backfired. Rather than garnering public sympathy, his relentless exploitation of his own family has only alienated him further. Now, as he and his son Thomas Jr. have retreated to the Philippines in what appears to be a sad attempt at exile, the Markle men are learning a harsh lesson. Clout and media attention do not equate to true support or stability. With the sympathy well having long since dried up, the Markle men are facing the consequences of their own misguided actions, their precarious tropical vacations showcasing just how hollow their tabloid crusade has become. The Markle men's tropical misadventures. Banished from the comforts of their cosy California lives, the Markle men found themselves thrust into the chaotic whirlwind of the Philippines, a tropical paradise that quickly morphed into a personal purgatory. With the stable Wi-Fi and reliable funds they had once taken for granted, now but distant memories, Thomas Markle Senior and Junior found themselves scrambling to maintain their tattered facades, forced to beg tabloids for the financial backing to sustain their self-imposed exile. Tropical escapades that were meant to serve as a respite from their troubles instead bore an uncanny resemblance to a true state of exile, as the Markle men learned the hard way that the sympathy they had squandered could not be so easily reclaimed, no matter how desperate their situation became. The vanishing of sympathy. The public's patience with the Markle men has worn dangerously thin. Once seen as victims of a fractured family, Thomas Markle and his son have squandered any goodwill with their relentless attempts to exploit Meghan's fame for their own gain. From begging tabloids to finance their bitter tirades against the Duchess to tropical getaways that reek more of exile than vacation, the Markle men are learning the hard way that clout and sympathy are not interchangeable currencies. When you spend years degrading and betraying your own flesh and blood, the well of public compassion inevitably runs dry, leaving them desperately grasping for relevance in a world that has moved on without them. The consequences of clout chasing. The Markle men are now facing the harsh realities of their choices, as the clout they once sought proves to be little more than a mirage. Their relentless attempts to capitalize on Meghan's fame have backfired spectacularly, leaving them grasping for financial stability in the face of dwindling public interest. From begging tabloids to fund their bitter crusade to finding themselves stranded in the Philippines on what appears to be an exile rather than a vacation, Thomas Markle Sr. and Jr. are learning the hard way that clout does not, in fact, pay the rent. The world has grown weary of their exploitative antics, and the sympathy they once enjoyed has long since dried up, replaced by a harsh indifference that echoes the instability of their own lives. Meghan and Harry's resilience. Despite the ceaseless attempts by the Markle men to undermine and disparage Meghan and Harry, the couple has emerged even stronger and more resilient. The relentless criticism and betrayal from Thomas Markle and his son have only served to deepen the bond between the Duke and Duchess of Sussex. Rather than allowing the Markle men's actions to break them, Meghan and Harry have remained steadfast in their love and commitment to each other. Their resilience in the face of such adversity is a testament to their strength of character and the power of their union. As the Markle men continue their futile efforts to tarnish the couple's reputation, Meghan and Harry forge ahead, focused on their philanthropic endeavours and building a life together that is untainted by the self-serving agenda of the Markle clan. The Markle men's downfall. Lessons have been painfully learned by the Markle men, as their attempts to exploit their connection to Meghan Markle have backfired spectacularly. Thomas Markle Sr. and Jr. now find themselves in a precarious position, facing the consequences of their actions. Begging tabloids to bankroll their bitterness has proven to be a hollow and unsustainable strategy, while their tropical escapades resemble more of an exile than a vacation. The Markle men's downfall serves as a cautionary tale, reminding us that clout and media attention do not translate into financial stability or public goodwill. Their decision to repeatedly trash Meghan and Prince Harry has come at a heavy price, and they are now learning the hard way that exploiting family members ultimately leads to one's own demise.